So, the question that I get asked almost every day is, what's the future of the shared lab space? How's that working in the COVID environment? And you know what? We have the perfect guest today to talk about it. Our guest is Melina Blees, the site director for BioLabs at 3675 and Cambridge Innovation Center here in Philadelphia. And she is living the COVID life and working with her residents at BioLabs in solving problems daily as to what it's like to work and live with the COVID-19 environment. Melina, welcome. We're so glad you could be with us today. And give us a day in your life. What's it like?
It's been a little bit crazy lately. 2020 has been an adventure for us, as I'm sure it has been for everyone. We are a little bit of an unusual space. We're not a true incubator. We're really a co-working facility. And what that means is that we're aimed at the very best biotech companies in any given ecosystem. They can be a young company with 1 or 2 people on their scientific staff, or they can be the skunkworks arm of a big biotech pharmaceutical company at large scale who just wants to have some people in a really creative environment who are working on some fast and dirty project, right? So we have innovation users from kind of all different sorts of companies working in our space. BioLabs is located all around the country and soon to be all around the world. We just announced Paris is going to be site number 10. Here in Philadelphia, we're partnered with 2 different organizations, CIC, who runs all of the surrounding space here at 3675 Market. So they're running 6 floors of office and conference room and shared spaces. BioLabs is running just everything behind the no food or drink sticker is what we like to say. And then we're also partnered with the Science Center and with Wexford and Ventas here as our other partners. And so we have lots of spaces that are shared by our residents, both co-working laboratories, so spaces where companies can kind of take bench by bench on 30-day terms. And we also have some private labs that are owned by individual companies, again, still all on those 30-day terms, so it's meant to be kind of as flexible as possible for them. We also have a ton of shared equipment, and we provide lots of operational resources. We have a team of 4 scientists, 3 of whom have PhDs. We're just here to make sure everything goes really smoothly for these companies and they can move as fast as they need to. Because, as I'm sure you guys know, speed is the most important thing for companies in the biotech world, right? So, COVID's been crazy. It's been adjustments for everyone on every level. We never truly shut down. So I know, everyone's instinct was to kind of put the brakes on things, and that's a great thing for us to do society-wide, but you can't really stop doing biotech. And not only that, we have 3 companies here who are working on COVID-related projects. So we really had kind of a kick to get up in the morning and make things work in spite of, social distancing and all of the extra precautions that we want to put in place. We really are all essential employees trying to kind of keep this place open. So a day in the life here looks like scientists coming in at all hours. We have folks, working shifts right now to try to social distance. We have extra scheduling spreadsheets in place so they can work around other companies. Because, even just trying to get the staff from one company to work around each other is challenging. But then when you have 13 different companies who are all trying to work around each other's schedules, that really does take some extra kind of high-touch planning to make everyone comfortable in space. We've, of course, put into place all of the extra kind of science-led guidance for how to keep people safe. Pretty much my full-time job, I would say, for the last 3 or 4 months has been just staying up with the latest and greatest from the CIC and, all of the latest and greatest papers that are coming out and talking to HR professionals and just figuring out ways to kind of help these companies move as fast as they can while still keeping their people safe and comfortable in the space. So we're requiring masks everywhere except for in private offices. We've also put up barriers between benches to allow everyone to still maintain that 6-foot distance. We're doing capacity limits on rooms, things like that. But in a sense, labs are almost kind of the perfect space to be during a pandemic because they're inherently designed to deal with biohazards. You have high airflow, you have inherently a lot of space between people, and you have everyone who has pretty good habits already in place. So, folks are not going to be in a BSL-2 space touching their face. Hopefully not. No one's going to be eating in the space, right? You have people who are used to dealing with biological hazards who are working together to kind of keep each other safe. And it's honestly been really incredible to have kind of the brain trust of this whole community and all of our neighbors, including folks who are not members of the BioLabs community, not members of the CIC community, literally just people who are our neighbors here at University City who come together on a regular basis to talk about kind of what we're doing and how we can drive science forward. So I run twice a week calls with the COVID leads from each of our resident companies, but then we also have some folks from Integral Molecular, from Amicus Therapeutics, from these incredible companies right next door to us who join in to kind of talk through what they're doing and how they're keeping their people safe and how we can kind of all share everyone's best ideas. We have a lot of epidemiologists and virologists and all other sorts of experts around here who are willing to kind of lend their expertise to helping us figure out how to do this the best possible way.
Well, I imagine that you've learned a lot over this past almost 3 months now. And the thing I'm curious about is, what's the most unusual, unexpected challenge that you've had to deal with? You talked about the logistics of how to manage people in and out, but
Yeah.
what's kind of like a surprising operational challenge that like, oh my God, how did that happen?
Yeah, this is going to sound silly, but honestly, finding masks that work for everyone has been a big challenge. I mean, we know that there were some limits on what kinds of masks were available, and we always wanted to prioritize kind of the N95s that everyone's so popular right now going to the hospitals, right? And we actually had a lot of our residents donate supplies to the local hospitals. But just finding even cloth masks that really work well for everyone in a really, high-tech environment where they can wear them for long periods of time. It's not going to interrupt kind of their breathing. It's going to be comfortable. It's going to fit well as they're taking, their face shields on and off, or as they're working in biosafety cabinets and everything. So I've actually spent a weirdly large amount of time on Etsy trying to source really unusual things for people that have, beards or unusual additional needs. So that's been a kind of a very quirky little side thing, but it's one of the benefits to my role is that I can kind of try to help all these companies at once. And we're not just trying to source for one company, we're trying to source for over 150 scientists. So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned that you have 3 companies that are actually dealing with COVID solutions, both I believe a vaccine and also some other testing. Tell me this, what's your sense of the spirit of the scientists who are working at BioLabs today? Is this just another day at the office? You mentioned that the lab is really the, kind of the perfect place, but I got to imagine there's a certain element of challenge that COVID has introduced to the whole process.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think every company is struggling with it, and I think every person is struggling with it. I mean, I think all of us, scientists and not, are grieving for the world that we were used to and nervous about the people that we love. And, that alone is a challenge that every company and every individual person is dealing with. I do think that we're very driven to help. I've been really impressed by both, the companies that are working on this as their main focus. They're here every moment of every day, right? They're trying to just put the pedal to the metal and, get us there. But we also have a bunch of folks who are working on rare diseases. They're working on cancer therapeutics. And, those diseases haven't gone away despite all of this that's happening. And people are still waiting for treatments and waiting for cures. And those people are still really driven to keep doing their work. I think we're just seeing an example here of, COVID is a great example of how the biotech industry can help make the world better and help protect people. And so I think if anything, it's kind of been a kick to a lot of us to feel really even more passionate about our work and to really see the impact that it can have. So, I mean, certainly some folks are more comfortable being out of their home than others, but I've been really impressed by how driven scientists have remained in spite of everything that's going on to kind of, get to the next solution.
Well, Melina, I want to take a second to just thank you and your staff and team for all that you're doing to support the important work that's going on at BioLabs. It's really exciting to hear about it, and thank you very much. Your enthusiasm and passion comes right through the screen, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. This is really fun.